She doesn't. Not today. Leave her alone.
35 ex-convicts, covered in prison tattoos, surrounded the luxury SUV when the CEO raised his hand to throw hot coffee at the pregnant waitress. Marcus Stone Washington, with scars from 15 years in the state penitentiary still marking every muscle, caught the man's wrist with a grip that came from a very dark place. "Not her," he said, with a voice that had once commanded respect behind bars. "Not today." But what the CEO didn't know was that Marcus had been convicted for protecting a woman being assaulted and had served every single day of his sentence without regret. What happened in the next few minutes changed not just that waitress, but an entire city that learned monsters can become guardians. Have you ever imagined that those with the darkest past can have the most protective hearts? That's exactly what happened with Marcus and his brotherhood. And what he discovered that day completely changed everything. You'll understand why this story shocked the entire state of Georgia. So subscribe to the channel right now, leave your like, and stay with me until the end. Because what happened in this story, nobody was prepared to see. And you can be sure you'll never look at a person by their past the same way again. Sarah Mitchell, 24 years old, 7 months pregnant, stood trembling behind the counter of Martha's Diner on Ponce de Leon Avenue in downtown Atlanta. Her hands shook as she tried to wipe coffee stains from her uniform, the brown liquid still dripping down her swollen belly. For the last 3 months, she had endured this. Every Tuesday morning, Richard Blackwell, CEO of Blackwell Financial Group, would arrive in his black Range Rover and treat her like garbage. "Too slow," he'd snap. "Too stupid," he'd mutter. Nobody believed her when she complained. "He's a regular customer," her manager would say. "He tips well." The system had failed her by teaching her that money talks and suffering stays silent. This morning was different. Worse. Sarah had brought his usual order exactly as he demanded every week, but he'd taken one sip and thrown the entire cup at her pregnant stomach. "Lukewarm garbage," he'd spit. "Are you too pregnant to read a thermometer?" The hot liquid soaked through her uniform, making her gasp. And when she asked him to please stop, her voice breaking, he raised his hand to throw the second cup. That's when her co-worker Jenny whispered urgently into her phone. "Yeah, Martha's Diner on Ponce. Now, she's pregnant," and he just, "Yes, that guy. They're coming." Sarah had heard the whispers. Stories about dangerous-looking men who helped when nobody else would. Ex-cons who protected women and kids. Could she trust people who'd been in prison? But what choice did she have? 20 minutes later, Sarah walked into a converted warehouse on Memorial Drive. The sign read, "Second Chance Reintegration Center," with the motto, "Past paid, future built, dignity earned." When she entered, 35 men stopped. What they were doing. Each one had a story written on their body. Tattoos from dark places, scars from violence, but eyes that showed something different. Hope mixed with determination. Marcus Washington stood up from a workbench. 42 years old, 6'3", 230 pounds. His arms were covered in ink, dates, names, symbols from a life on the wrong side of the law. But his voice was surprisingly gentle. "Miss, what brings you here?" Sarah's voice failed at first. Then the words tumbled out. 3 months of abuse. Coffee thrown at her pregnant belly. The system that protected the rich and ignored the vulnerable. She showed them the recording on her phone. 4 separate incidents. As the audio played, fists clenched. Jaws tightened. A heavy silence fell. Marcus closed his eyes. When he opened them, something ancient and tired showed in his gaze. We know what it's like to be judged without a chance to defend yourself, but we also know how to recognize a predator. You came to the right place. Jerome, Ghost Turner with tattoos covering his neck, stepped forward. 40 years old, served 12 years for drug trafficking. Miss Sarah, we're not what we used to be, but we still know how to use what we learned for protection. We're going to help you, not with violence, with presence, with proof. With making sure this man understands that money doesn't buy the right to hurt people. Marcus looked at Blackwell's photo on Sarah's phone. Something flickered across his expression. "We vote. Who agrees to help Sarah?" 35 hands went up. all marked by their past, all working for a different future. Sarah, Marcus knelt to her level. From now on, you have 35 brothers, and we protect our own. Before we continue, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I want to know how far this redemption story is reaching, and leave a like if you're feeling every word. In the center's main room, Marcus opened a worn notebook. We need information before action. Carlos Tech. Reyes stepped forward, 34, served 8 years for financial fraud. His fingers flew across a keyboard. Found him. Richard Blackwell, CEO of Blackwell Financial. History of complaints, 3 settled harassment suits, pattern of behavior with service workers. Multiple incidents buried under money. Carlos smiled tiredly. Everything I'm doing is from public databases. I just know where to look because I used to know where to hide. Dion, preacher. Matthews, 55 with 17 years served, knew every corner of Atlanta's business district. Blackwell eats lunch at Capitol Grill every Tuesday. Parks in the private garage on Peachtree. Security cameras here, here, and here. I know because I used to plan jobs in places like this. Today, this knowledge serves protection. For the next week, members quietly documented Blackwell's routine, not stalking, protecting Sarah. And Blackwell was getting nervous. He could feel eyes on him. Started looking over his shoulder, changing patterns, getting jumpy. Carlos built a complete file. 17 videos of Blackwell mistreating service workers, 23 witness statements, financial records showing hush money, audio recordings from Sarah and 2 other women. It's enough for a lawsuit, said Andre Lawyer Thompson, who'd served 6 years and now offered free legal advice. But first, he needs to know he's caught. They tried the official route first. Marcus and Sarah went to the police. The officer barely looked interested. This is a civil matter. Talk to a lawyer. Then he really looked at Marcus, saw the tattoos, the prison-hardened posture. And you are? Marcus kept calm. Marcus Washington. I served 15 years for aggravated assault. I paid my debt. Today I run the Second Chance Center. I'm a licensed carpenter. I pay my taxes. My past shouldn't, but it complicates your credibility. I'm sorry. When Marcus returned and told the group, the silence was heavy. Jerome spoke first. It's always like this. We pay, we change, but we'll forever be labeled. Dayon countered. Society sees us that way, but we know who we are, and that's why we're doing this differently. We're not breaking the law. We're making the law ashamed it failed. The date was chosen. Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m., Capitol Grill parking garage on Peachtree Street. 35 men arrived in a convoy. Each wore a Second Chance Center t-shirt, clean jeans, work boots. They looked like working men with hard pasts and honest presence. But the way they moved, silent, strategic, coordinated, was unmistakable. Richard Blackwell was getting out of his Range Rover when he saw them. His face went from confusion to recognition to fear in 3 seconds. Marcus walked forward slowly, the others forming a semicircle, not threatening, just there. Witnesses with phones were already recording. Richard Blackwell, Marcus said, his voice carrying. My name is Marcus Washington. I served 15 years for aggravated assault. I paid my debt. I changed my life. You've been assaulting a pregnant woman for 3 months. You think you'll get away with it because you have money and power. Blackwell tried to bluster. I don't know what you're talking about. Get away or I'll... Marcus held up an envelope. We already called everyone who matters. This contains 17 videos, 23 statements, financial records of your hush money, and audio recordings. We've sent copies to the Georgia Department of Labor, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and your company's board. But we wanted you to know something. He stepped closer, 34 men stepping with him. It was men society calls ex-criminals who brought you down. Remember that. Blackwell's hand moved toward Marcus. 5 hands, all marked by prison, caught him without hurting. No, Marcus said firmly. We're not that anymore. But you're going to learn what consequences feel like. Police sirens approached. Not because of violence, but because Andre had tipped them, making sure there were official witnesses. Let him go, Marcus ordered. They released Blackwell, who stumbled backward from fear, not force. Jerome knelt to his level. Look around. See these people recording? We told them who you are. Now you're being watched by hundreds of eyes. Anything you do, we'll know." "Is that a threat?" Blackwell stammered. "No, it's a promise. And unlike you, when we promise, we keep it." Marcus looked at Blackwell, trembling, and was pulled 15 years back. He'd been 27, walking home from his construction job in Mechanicsville when he heard screaming from an alley. A woman being attacked by two men. Marcus didn't think, just acted. He pulled them off her, and the fight was brutal. One attacker ended up with a broken jaw and fractured ribs. The woman was safe, but when police arrived, they saw a large black man standing over a bleeding white man. The woman's testimony saved Marcus from murder charges, but not from 15 years for aggravated assault. The judge said, "You could have called police. You chose violence." Marcus replied, "By the time police came, she'd be dead. I chose her life. 15 years in Georgia State Prison. The violence, fear, code of survival." But in cell block D, an older inmate named William, serving his 30th year, told Marcus, "Young man, you got warrior spirit, but you're using it in a war that don't need fighting. When you get out, use that. Spirit to protect, not destroy. That's the difference between a criminal and a guardian." Marcus made 3 promises that day. Never use violence unless someone's life was in immediate danger. Help others who'd made mistakes find their way back. Prove that redemption was a daily choice. He'd kept every promise for 5 years since his release. If you're moved by this story, leave a like right now. And answer me, do you believe people can truly change? Write yes or no and tell me why. I want to. Read every comment. The confrontation video hit the internet within 2 hours. 35 ex-convicts confront CEO who abused pregnant waitress. Within 24 hours, 3 million views. Comments exploded. "Once a criminal, always a criminal," some wrote. But the tide was shifting. "My God, these men have more character than many so-called upstanding citizens." One comment with 50,000 likes read, "I was prejudiced, but this story made me rethink everything." Local reporter Jennifer Cho from WSB-TV arrived at the center. "I'd like to do a story. The whole state is talking about the ex-convict guardians." Marcus hesitated. "We're not heroes. We just did what was right." Jennifer smiled. "That's exactly why people want to know you." During the interview, she asked, "You served 15 years. How did you decide to change?" Marcus looked into the camera. "It wasn't one decision. It was hundreds. Every day you wake up and choose, are you going to be who you were or who you want to be? I chose who I want to be. Every single day." The next day, people started showing up. Mrs. Dorothy Hayes, 72, brought food. "I saw the report. You deserve this." Michael Chen, construction owner. "I can donate 20 hours a week to teach skills." A 17-year-old boy, trembling. "My dad was in prison. He never changed. Seeing it's possible gives me hope." Among new supporters was Robert Crane, 58, owner of Crane Construction. His father had been in prison. When Robert was a child, he knew the stigma. "I'll hire 5 ex-convicts with signed contracts, fair wages, benefits." His phrase became, "The past doesn't define anyone. Opportunity does." The center also saved someone without Marcus knowing. Jamal Washington, 16, Marcus's nephew, was 2 weeks from joining a gang. Marcus found the burner phone in Jamal's backpack. "Jamal, what is this?" The boy tried to lie, then gave up. "I need money. Respect. I need..." Marcus held up the phone. "I needed too. 15 years ago. Sitting where you are. I took the offer. And I lost 15 years. Lost watching my mother die while locked up. Lost my girlfriend. Lost my sister's wedding. Lost meeting you until you were 11. He looked into Jamal's eyes. "You're 16. Same age I started. You're angry, scared, want to prove you're somebody. I know because I was you. The difference is you have someone showing you where this road ends. I'm here, 42, with a past that doesn't erase, with tattoos that don't fade, telling you this path isn't worth it." He pushed the phone away. "Now you choose. Take this and become me 15 years ago. Or drop this and become the me I fought to be." Jamal stared for what felt like hours. Then he walked to the sink and smashed the phone under the faucet. He turned back, tears streaming. I don't want to be you back then, Uncle Marcus. I want to be you now, but I don't know how. Marcus pulled him into a hug. That's why we're here, nephew. To show you how. Meanwhile, Blackwell's world crumbled. Within a week, he was suspended from Blackwell Financial pending investigation. His wife filed for separation after seeing the videos. Country club membership suspended. Friends stopped calling. He tried to fight back, hired expensive lawyers, tried to pressure the center's landlord, attempted city inspections. But 35 pairs of eyes were always watching. When Blackwell showed up at the center's bank, Jerome was there. No words, just presence. Blackwell left. Then Carlos discovered something stunning during his deep dive into Blackwell's history. A sealed juvenile record revealed Richard Blackwell's birth name was Richard Washington. He was Marcus's half-brother, abandoned by their father when Richard was 3, raised by wealthy maternal grandparents, given their surname, told his father's other family didn't exist. Marcus stared at the document. "He's my brother?" His voice was hollow. Carlos nodded. "Half-brother. Your father had a relationship before your mother. Richard's mom came from money. Her family paid your father to disappear. Richard grew up rich but abandoned. You grew up poor but loved." That night, Marcus sat alone, staring at old photos. His father had died 10 years into his sentence. They'd never reconciled. And now this. The man he'd just helped destroy professionally was his own blood. The irony was crushing. Jerome found him at midnight. "What are you going to do?" Marcus was quiet. "What we always do. The right thing, even when it's hard." The confrontation happened a week later. Marcus went to Blackwell's Buckhead mansion alone. Blackwell answered, looking haggard, 20 pounds lighter, eyes sunken. "What do you want?" Marcus held up the document. "To tell you the truth, Richard Washington, born September 14th, 1978, son of Catherine and James Washington. My father." Blackwell's face went white. "What? We're brothers, half-brothers. Our father abandoned. Your family for money, then had me with my mother. You grew up with wealth and anger. I grew up with love and struggle. And somehow we both ended up here." Blackwell sank onto his steps. "You're lying. I have the records. DNA test if you want. But I'm not here for a reunion. I'm here because I need you to understand something. Everything you've done, the cruelty, comes from pain. You were abandoned. So was I. By the same man. But you chose to make others hurt because you hurt. I chose different." Marcus stood up. "The center has an opening. When you hit rock bottom, when you lose everything, if you want to actually rebuild, not buy your way back but earn your way back, we'll be there. Because that's what we do, even for people who don't deserve it. Why would you help me after what I did? Because someone helped me when I didn't deserve it. And because you're my brother, even if we just met, that has to mean something. Now tell me, if this twist got you, comment here, I didn't expect this. And tell me what was the most shocking moment. Tag someone who needs to see this redemption story. Someone losing hope. Someone who thinks you can't start over." 6 months later, the Second Chance Center held its expansion ceremony. Moved to a larger building, the sign now read, "Second Chance Reintegration Center, past recognized, present built, future earned, dignity achieved." The mission was clear. Founded by ex-convicts who chose to transform conviction into contribution, offering professional reintegration, psychological support, free vocational courses, temporary housing, and prevention programs with youth. The building had reception run by former beneficiaries, counseling rooms, classrooms for carpentry, welding, computers, a cafeteria for community meals, dormitories for 8 people with strict rules, common areas for conversation circles, and transparent administration offices. On the walls, photos of those helped, inspirational phrases, and project rules. First beneficiaries had their stories displayed. Marcus Jenkins, 31, served 9 years for armed robbery, arrived addicted, homeless, suicidal. Today, his own apartment, 14 months clean, training 2 other ex-convicts. "They gave me tools and trust, more valuable than money." Jessica Ramirez, 28, served 6 years drug-related. Single mother who'd lost custody. The center helped her regain her kids. Today she works at Grady Hospital. The system took my children. This place helped me become a mother again. Jamal Washington, now 17, completing his GED, working part-time, peer mentor for younger teens. My uncle showed me mistakes don't have to become destiny. The ceremony drew 200 people. Sarah Mitchell sat front row, 8 months after giving birth to daughter Amara, finishing nursing degree. Next to her, Patricia, Dorothy, Michael, Robert, dozens of community members. Jennifer Cho documented for a special report. The mayor sent a representative, and in the back, trying to be invisible, sat Richard Blackwell. Marcus stepped to the microphone. 15 years ago, I was the worst version of myself. I committed assault. I paid 15 years. But when I got out, I discovered the world doesn't want you to change. The world wants to prove it was right about you. That's why this place exists. Not to prove anything to the world, to prove to ourselves that mistakes don't define eternally. That change is possible. That's second. Chances aren't charity, they're justice for those who've paid their debt. He pointed to the sign. Second Chance Center isn't charity. It's real justice. The kind that punishes mistakes, but believes in change. We're not heroes. We're men who made terrible mistakes, paid dearly, and chose differently. And now we help others choose too. The room stood and repeated together. Past recognized, present built, future earned, dignity achieved. Sarah stood, baby in her arms. 7 months ago, I was desperate. A powerful man was abusing me. Nobody would help. The system failed. Then I met men society labeled criminals, men with tattoos and scars and histories. They became my protectors, advocates, family. You taught me character isn't your worst day. It's what you choose every day after. Thank you. Robert Crane spoke. I had prejudices, saw ex-convict and thought threat. These men taught me redemption isn't a word, it's a verb conjugated daily. Today I employ 23 former inmates. They're my most punctual, dedicated, loyal workers. Why? Because they know the value of a chance. As for Richard Blackwell, his fate was realistic. Fired from Blackwell Financial after investigation revealed harassment patterns and misuse of funds. 3 civil lawsuits. Wife divorced him, taking half his assets. Lost his Buckhead house, cars, memberships, everything that defined him. For months, he spiraled, drinking, isolation, rage. Then one day, he showed up at the center, not humble, not apologetic, but desperate. Marcus met him in reception. 2 brothers who'd never known each other, shaped by the same abandonment into completely different men. I lost everything, Richard said. Good, Marcus replied. Now you know what most people start with. I don't know how to be this person. Then you're going to learn, the same way I did. One day, one choice, one honest action at a time. Marcus pushed an application across. You fill this out. Commit to 6 months minimum. You work, attend counseling, contribute. No special treatment, no shortcuts. Why are you doing this? Because despite everything, you're my brother. And because the man who helped me change told me redemption isn't about deserving it. It's about choosing it. 3 months later, Richard Blackwell, now using Richard Washington, lived in the center's dormitory, attending daily AA meetings, working in Dorothy Hayes's restaurant washing dishes. Not glamorous, not easy. Some days he wanted to quit. But Marcus was there, not as a friend, but as a mirror showing what he could become. Today, 3 years after that Tuesday morning at Martha's Diner, the Second Chance Center has helped 312 people directly, 147 successfully reintegrated into the workforce, 62 young people diverted from criminal paths. Recidivism rate among participants is 11%, compared to national average of 70%. Partnerships with 31 businesses across Atlanta. 2 more locations opened. Their model studied by criminal justice reform advocates nationwide. Marcus Washington is now 45. The tattoos are still there. The scars are still there. The past is still there. But so is the present. Licensed contractor, certified counselor, father figure to dozens, living example that change isn't just possible, it's achievable through daily choice. Sarah graduated nursing, works pediatrics at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Daughter Amara is 3, calls Marcus Uncle Stone. Sarah volunteers every Saturday, sharing her story with women in crisis. Jamal Washington is 19, union carpenter making good money, applying to Georgia Tech engineering. Mentors 12 teenagers, never been arrested. Richard Washington still works at Dorothy's restaurant, been sober 3 years, slowly rebuilding relationship with his ex-wife, not romantic but respectful, manages restaurant finances now using business skills for good. He'll probably never be wealthy again, never powerful again, but he might become decent. And for someone like him, that's radical transformation. This story isn't about perfect people or fairy. 3 years after that Tuesday morning, the Second Chance Center has helped 312 people. 147 successfully reintegrated. 62 young people diverted from criminal paths. Recidivism rate 11% compared to national average of 70%. Marcus Washington is now 45. The tattoos are still there. The scars are still there. The past is still there. But so is the present. Licensed contractor, certified counselor, father figure to dozens, living proof that change is achievable through daily choice. Sarah graduated nursing, works pediatrics at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Daughter Amara is 3, calls Marcus Uncle Stone. Jamal is 19, union carpenter, applying to Georgia Tech, mentors 12 teenagers, never been arrested. Richard Washington manages Dorothy's restaurant finances, 3 years sober, rebuilding his life one honest day at a time. This story isn't about perfect people. It's about broken people who chose to rebuild. It's about understanding that your worst moment doesn't define your entire existence. It's about a society that loves to condemn but forgets that criminals were once children, and children can still become anything. The prison system doesn't rehabilitate, it destroys. When someone gets out and doesn't return to crime, it's a miracle of personal strength. And that strength deserves recognition. Second chances aren't about excusing behavior. They're about believing that time paid plus real change equals the right to dignity. Next time you see someone with tattoos, scars, or a criminal history, ask yourself, who are they today? Not who they were yesterday. Because if Marcus could change, if his brotherhood could change, if Sarah could forgive and help, then change isn't a dream. It's a choice. Difficult? Yes. Possible? Always. From the deepest pit, you can still see stars, and stars guide upward. Always. Now I ask you, would you believe in someone's change if they had a criminal past? Or are you one of those who thinks once a criminal, always a criminal? If this story touched your heart and made you rethink your judgments, leave a like now. This like isn't just a button, it's you saying, I believe people can change. Tell me in the comments, what marked you most in this story? Was it when Marcus caught Blackwell's wrist? When he discovered Richard was his brother? When Jamal destroyed the phone? Write it down and answer this. Do you know someone who deserves a second chance? Or someone who had a second chance and changed their life? Tag that person or share this video with them. This could be the push they need. And from which city are you watching? Right here, watching from city and state. I want to see how far Marcus and the Second Chance Center story is reaching across America. If you love stories that show the human side of people, that show real redemption, that aren't afraid to talk about real issues, subscribe now and turn on the bell so you don't miss any story that will move you and make you see the world differently. Are you crying? It's normal. I cried too while writing this. Stories like this remind us that the past doesn't eternally define, the present builds, and everyone deserves the chance to prove they've changed. Write in the comments, redemption is possible if you believe this. Changed my view. If this story transformed you, or I know someone like this if you have a similar story. I want to read every comment, every story from you, because you're part of this too. Now click on the next video I've selected for you. It's another story that will hit you hard. See you there. A hug, and remember, judge less, understand more, because everyone has a story. Not everyone has the chance to tell it. Much love to you all. Tentar novamente. Claude Pode. Cometer erros. Confira sempre as respostas.